Welcome to the NBA's greatest games. Today, we'll take you back into NBA history and relive one of the great matchups as it happened.
All signs pointed towards a Knicks conquest. Untamed emotion and a unified battle cry propelled them into the spotlight of the Eastern Conference Finals. Patrick Ewing's radiant performance had the Knicks going in the right direction. An impenetrable desire produced a winning formula, leaving the Pacers spinning out of control. But shattered dreams have become habitual for New York. A role reversal, and the Pacers giving them a dose of their own medicine. Indiana's prescription for success, tenacity, and heart. The emergence of Rick Smits has the Pacers grasping for glory. And those moments when it seems out of reach, Reggie Miller steps forward and thrives under the pressure. The Knicks' unbridled passion is their MO. But first, they must find the composure that they left back east. The composure that defines a leader, a man willing to accept a challenge. That challenge has been issued in what is now a best 2 out of 3.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1994 NBA playoffs. Tonight, Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks.
Madison Square Garden has been jumping in recent weeks. The New York Rangers of the National Hockey League in the Stanley Cup Finals. The New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final. And tonight, this is the setting for a pivotal 5th game in the best of 7, with the series between the Knicks and the Pacers all tied at 2. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert, along with Matt Gukas, and we welcome you to our primetime coverage of the NBA. And Matt, for the New York Knicks, it has been a solid season. 57 wins during the course of the regular campaign, and then in the playoffs they beat the Nets, defeated the Bulls, but they've certainly had their problems against the Pacers. In fact, the last 2 games of the series against the Pacers, 2 of their worst performances of the season. 68 points, 77 points the last 2 games in Indiana, and it's been very sloppy play. 26 turnovers on Monday in Game 4, 21 turnovers committed in Game 3 on Saturday. And as coaches like to say, the Knicks have demonstrated no respect for the basketball.
Well, just getting a good shot in the last 2 games has been an adventure for the Knicks, but the home court can cure a lot of that. And there's the dramatic difference in scoring and field goal percentage numbers for New York between Madison Square Garden and Market Square Arena, and just how important is taking care of the basketball. In each of the 4 games of this series, whoever has won the turnover battle has won the game.
And over the first 3 games of this series, Indiana's top offensive weapon, Reggie Miller, has been extremely quiet on and off the court, but he did erupt in Game 4 with 31 points. Also changed back to his normal, colorful personality. He said, I'm not a nice guy, and I was playing too nice. I've been holding back. I've been trying to be good, but nice guys finish last. You can't be a nice guy if you're going to beat the Knicks. And the feeling is we can expect more of the same here this evening from Reggie Miller.
Well, if no more Mr. Nice Guy means Reggie Miller's going to try to score a lot of points and then talk about it, the Knicks are going to have their hands and ears full. But Indiana's also going to need a strong game from Rick Smits. Dale and Antonio Davis are going to have to dominate the backboards, and somebody for Indiana is going to have to get the hot hand in the 4th quarter, and a likely suspect could be there, Reggie Miller.
And as always, joining us on the sideline, they call him the Dean of Sideline Reporting. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. In terms of injuries for the Pacers, Byron Scott, who had a bruised pelvic bone in Game 3, played in Game 4. He says that's all loosened up and he's available to play. Now for the Knicks, Charles Oakley, as you can see here in Game 4, he was going up for a rebound, came down on Dale Davis's foot. It appeared that it was a sprained ankle, but on further review, they found out that it was a left foot, mid-foot foot sprain. Now Oakley will be playing tonight, not only with that injury, but also in game 1, he hurt the arch of his right foot. He got treatment yesterday, got treatment all day today, and says nothing will stop him from playing in this game tonight. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, for Larry Brown and his Indiana Pacers coming up, the biggest game in the NBA history of their franchise. A beautiful night in Gotham on this first day of June. And this has certainly been a home court geared series. Will there be a breakthrough? The Knicks 8-0 at home in the playoffs, while the Pacers have actually done a nice job on the road. Look at that Indiana starting lineup. Hayward Workman, who turned it in the 2 games at Indianapolis, and Reggie Miller, who came out in game 4 on Monday afternoon. They are the backcourt. Rick Smits has had a solid series. Derek McKee had his problems here at Madison Square Garden, but he turned it up a notch in the games back home, and Dale Davis at the other forward position. Larry Brown, head coach of the Indiana Pacers. He says the key to the series, the team that has gotten to the loose balls and the long rebounds, the team that out-hustles the other will win the game. Derek Harper and John Starks open up at the guard positions for the Knicks, and the Knicks are looking for more production in the backcourt. Patrick Ewing was able to bounce back from the 0 for 10 in game 3, had a good one in game 4. Charles Smith has been very quiet, and Charles Oakley has tailed off the last couple of ball games. So there you have the starting lineups. Pat Riley says the high number of turnovers by the Knicks, 26 in game number 4, the result of a form of what he calls mental meltdown, the result of the playoff grind. And we're set for game 5. Joe Crawford, Jack Madden, Dan Crawford are the officials, and the Indiana Pacers control the opening tip. Hayward Workman guarded by Derek Harper. Reggie Miller played by John Starks once again. And Rick Smits gets it down low, batted away by Charles Oakley. Harper. And Starks off the screen. Yes. John Starks with a 3-point shot to open things up.
It looked like John was ready to shoot that ball even before he got to his hands. He rushed it, but he drained it.
John Starks has not shot well during the series. Joe Crawford with the call of an illegal defense. That is the warning.
There's John Starks getting in the ball in a reversal. The Knicks had actually looked inside to Charles Smith to try to get him off. Couldn't get it to him as he's been fronted. These teams really do mirror each other in a lot of things that they do defensively. Everybody fronts in the post.
McKee gets inside and is rejected by Ewing. Derek McKee on the follow. Derek McKee missed his first 11 shots here at the Garden. Games 1 and 2. 0 for 7 in game 1, and then finished up at 2 for 9 in the second game of the series.
Well, we use the phrase easy baskets a lot. That would be a pretty good description of one right there. A good block by Ewing and a hard work by McKee, but just an easy lay-in.
Shot clock at 4. Starks. Good look by Oakley. As Ahmad mentioned earlier, Charles Oakley suffered that sprained left ankle in game 4 in the fourth quarter. Says it's sore, but Charles always says he's all right. Early in the series, bothered by a bruised foot. Chant of defense here in the early going. Smits' pass deflected. Workman just did get it off to beat the 24. The Knicks 5 and the Pacers 2. Oakley hesitated and then hit.
A little tentative look that time by Charles Oakley. He couldn't believe he was that wide open. He just spent a weekend in Indianapolis and didn't get that clear a look in 2 days.
There's Reggie Miller. Will it count? No. Whistle before The shot attempt. Offensive foul. So the basket waved off. Dale Davis setting an illegal pick.
Well, moving and also grabbing on to John Starks, and the easy call for the officials there. But John Starks working hard. Nothing new there with Reggie Miller trying to keep contact with him. And after John knocking down his first two shots, the three-pointer and the driving layup, he'll even play tougher defense.
Haywood Workman called for the foul. Wild pass from Oakley. Batted around by Miller, and then Starks called for the foul. When you consider the way the Knicks were shooting in Indianapolis, they have to be delighted as they've opened up on fire by hitting their first three shots. Charles Oakley blaming himself for that lead pass that went astray.
And Pat Riley upset with it as well. Those are the kinds of turnovers you have to stay away from. Pat wants to keep that turnover number down to around 15 or 16.
Knicks with a 7-2 advantage. Miller picked up by Ewing on a switch, helping out in a double team. Shot clock at 1. Smith with the steal. Smith with the hesitation dribble, and that throws Miller. It's the Knicks with a 9-2 lead. Indiana calling for time.
Well, this steal all set up on pressure defense as the Pacers throwing the ball around the perimeter, and the seas open up for Charles Smith as he gets his best look in a couple of games, as Reggie Miller makes a decision there, guessing that Charles Smith might pass the ball, but Charles able to keep his steps and finish in strong fashion.
So Indiana takes a 20-second timeout. A rough start here in game number 5 for the Pacers. Game 1 won by the Knicks here at Madison Square Garden last Tuesday. Big game for Charles Oakley. Patrick Ewing also had a good one. Game number 2, Ewing 32 points, 13 rebounds for that 11-point victory. Game 3 at Market Square. The Knicks with only 68 points, a record NBA playoff low as they shot 34%. And game 4 won by the Pacers this past Monday as Reggie Miller turned it up with 31. Smith's his pass picked off. Excellent defense by the Knicks here at the start. Smith with a hard driving move. And McKee comes away with it. Eric McKee sets up Haywood Workman for 3. And it will be Nick Ball.
Well, Charles Smith, after getting a somewhat of a breakaway layup, feeling his oats a little bit, gets another opening down the lane and decides to take this one with authority, but just unable to get enough lift off those legs to finish the play.
3.5 gone by. And the Knicks have a 9-2 lead. Starks with the fake. And a loose ball foul against the Knicks. Pushing foul on Smith. Game 6 will be played at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis on Friday night. If there's a Game 7, it will be back here at Madison Square Garden on Sunday. The Pacers have lost 11 straight here in New York, 31 of the last 33, dating back to January of 1983. Indiana now 1 for 5 from the floor. Ewing. Patrick Ewing converts on his first field goal, and the Knicks are now 5 of 7 from the field.
Well, Patrick went about 4 minutes without touching the ball at the offensive end. First time he gets his hands on it. Launched it from deep.
Here's Miller for 3. Good box out by Oakley. Back comes Hopper. Smith with the open shot. The Knicks 13 and the Pacers 2.
Well, a goal for Pat Riley and the Knicks coming into this game. He wanted to get at least 10 fast break scores in this game. They may get them in this first quarter.
And it's stolen by Starks. Harper ahead of the field. The Knicks 15. The Pacers 2, and Indiana will talk it over. Pacer coach Larry Brown, a local area product, grew up in Long Beach, was a regular at games here at Madison Square Garden as a youngster before his standout playing career. So coaching here at the Garden has special meaning for Larry.
Well, it was always my dream to play for the Knicks or be part of the Knicks. You know, Red Holzman was a hero for me. I always knew I wanted to be a coach, and I admired the way he dealt with people and how unselfishly his teams played. So anytime I step onto the Garden floor, I think of him. And, you know, I look up and see those banners. I wasn't a participant there, but I was a big fan of the Knicks even when I was at other places. So this is the biggest game for me in this building. You know, I've been here with Kansas, been here with North Carolina and the Nets and other teams, but never in a position like this. And I don't take this moment lightly.
Well, Charles Oakley extends that Nick lead. Nice statement from Larry Brown, who's been a great admirer of Knicks coach Red Holzman, a man who guided the Knicks to the NBA title in 1970 and 1973. 2.5 remaining. First quarter, Indiana turns it over. Here's Hoffer with the ball fake, setting up Ewing, and he's fouled by Vern Fleming, who came on following that timeout.
Well, the Knicks' aggressive defense causing a lot of turnovers. None will be easy as this, as Smith back on his heels throws the one-hander and almost caught the Derek Harper by surprise, as another fast break opportunity for the Knicks as Patrick Ewing will try to finish it off.
6 points for Ewing. Indiana now has committed 7 turnovers. The Knicks with only 2, a contrast to what took place in games 3 and 4.
Well, one of the big keys for the Knicks coming into this game 5 was that their point guards, both Harper and Anthony, have to be very assertive and aggressive. First at the defensive end, putting pressure on Workman and Fleming, and then also at the offensive end, either running the break or getting the Knicks quickly into their offense.
As Derek Harper says, he has to be more aggressive. He had the good game in game 2, but not the case in the 2 games played at Market Square. Antonio Davis and Vern Fleming have checked in for the Pacers. Here's Fleming getting the step. Rebound Fleming. Starks let it go wisely. It will be Nick Ball.
Pressure on the ball, deflections, challenging every shot, and John Starks doing an excellent job on Reggie Miller, denying him the ball almost every trip.
Just under 2 minutes remaining. In this first quarter, the Knicks have hit 10 of 15 from the field. That was not a good shot by Charles Oakley.
I think feeling it a little bit since he made his last one. Actually, that ball is supposed to go into Patrick Ewing, and that's really when the Knicks are at their best, when it goes inside and comes out cleanly.
Reggie Miller off trying the three-pointer. So Reggie not able to get going. He's 1 for 4 from the field. In a moment, Byron Scott will check in. Ewing. And it's rebounded by Smits. Fleming pushes it down. Vern Fleming, another New York area product. McKee with a look away. Throws it off the mark.
I'm talking about how hard John Starks. Look how he has contact with Reggie Miller. You have to keep your hands on him and try to force him one way, which he has done. He's trying to take Reggie Miller away from his right hand. Reggie just outworks him there. But all that hard work by John Starks, it won't show up in any box score, but it is the way that the Knicks win basketball games.
Last touch by Indiana. Here comes Kenny Williams. Reggie Miller sitting down, so Reggie with a bucket for 2, 1 out of 4, replaced by Byron Scott, who says he's feeling better after taking that shot on the hip back in game 3. Anthony Mason has come on as Patrick Ewing puts it home. Beautiful lead pass from John Starks, who collects his 4th assist of this first quarter. The Knicks 28, the Pacers 12. Kenny Williams. Oakley trying to keep it alive. Antonio Davis on the recovery.
There's that easy basket again. Hard work by the Knicks, just cannot corral the defensive rebound. But Antonio Davis takes care of the miscue.
And again, the rebound by Antonio Davis. Half-minute left in this first quarter. Antonio Davis the foul is called. No, they say a goaltending call. The basket counts.
John Starks coming off a pick and roll off of Charles Oakley and finding Patrick Ewing on the weak side. The flipper by Antonio Davis, and as Patrick Ewing tries to get that rebound, Joey Crawford ruled that the ball was over the cylinder or over the rim. Looked like a good call.
So Davis gets credit for the field goal. Antonio Davis has come out assertive. That was not the case in the games here in New York earlier this series. So Larry Brown has to be pleased about that. Here's Ewing from deep. And with 0.6 of a second remaining in this first quarter, the ball back to the Pacers.
Well, the wild hook shot by Antonio Davis, but watch Patrick Ewing just take that off. Ball was probably not going to go in, but in the ruling of official Joe Crawford, it was over the cylinder, and that is goaltending.
Well, they reset the clock, 0.9 of a second to go. Antonio Davis looking to inbound. Fleming fires it. Well, a good sign for the Knicks. 11 field goals in this hot shooting first quarter, plus 10 assists. Patrick Ewing off to the fast start. 3 out of 5, 9 points. And the Knicks are up 28-16 after 1.
Antonio Davis with the ball inside with a little pump fake. Going to take it up towards the basket and draw the strong arm of Anthony Mason. And with his right hand there, he looks like he jammed it on the top, and very, very sore as Mason bangs him hard to prevent the lay-in and put the weak free throw shooter on the line.
All right, right here, let's go to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, Antonio Davis, he has broken that right hand a couple of times, and every time he gets jammed on it, it's very painful. As you see, he just came over, and the trainer, David Craig, taped his middle 2 fingers together, and he is going to continue and play with it. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, Antonio Davis, only a 64% free throw shooter. The Knicks getting off quickly. They led 15-2 right at the start. They've led by as many as 16. And the good sign, the Knicks with 13 field goals plus 12 assists. They had only 14 assists in all of game number 4. So the offense clicking for the first time in 3 games. Anthony kicks it out. 2.5 gone by in the second quarter. Marv Albert with Matt Gukas and Ahmad Rashad.
Greg Anthony has to pick up where Derek Harper left off with that aggressiveness on defense to keep pressuring the ball as much as possible, giving too much ground there and making it an easy pass for Vern Fleming.
And Davis was stopped. Dale Davis rejected. It will be Indiana ball with 6 on the 24. Williams will throw it in. Just did get it inbounds. Antonio Davis. Dale Davis with the tip. And the Knicks now lead by 12.
Well, another key for the Pacers to try to win a ball game here in Madison Square Garden is to win the battle of the boards. They're doing that so far, 15-8.
Hubert Davis for Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason, and he'll head to the line. Anthony Mason played 31 minutes in game 4 and attempted only 1 shot. Foul called on Antonio Davis.
This time Anthony trying to take it in amongst the big people. One time earlier, about 2 or 3 trips ago, he had Byron Scott on his back and didn't realize it and passed the ball back out. 1 shot in 31 minutes, doing his best Dennis Rodman imitation. Yes. He did make 6 out of 6 from the free throw line, but has really wreaked havoc on the offensive board. The Pacers very much concerned when he's in the ball game, trying to keep him off the board. They feel he is throwing their players around, and sometimes he does.
He is a player who does get to the foul line frequently. Improved his free throw shooting at 72% for the season. The Knicks 33 and the Pacers 20. The Knicks 8-0 at home in the playoffs. 1 up, 6 down on the road in the playoffs. Fleming. Nice feed. Antonio Davis rejected. Back comes Mason. 3 on 2. Davis. And Williams had to chase it. Mason. Not a good shot by Anthony Mason. Dale Davis has that nice shoulder fake. Could not complete it. Davis on the rebound. Knicks want to travel, but a foul has been called. Charles Smith called for his second.
Well, anytime there's something of a ball going up around the basket, those Davises are going to be around. This time, Herb Williams able to get a little bit of a deflection to knock that loose, but they keep coming at you. They're getting to the offensive board and oftentimes play volleyball with it.
Al Davis has come back from a fractured bone in his left wrist. That was a major loss in the first half of the season. Haywood Workman checking back in, along with Reggie Miller. Byron Scott, Vern Fleming sit down. Indiana is 0 for 4 at the line.
Dale Davis 5 for 11 now. Now make it 5 for 12 in this series.
4 minutes gone by. Second quarter. And Antonio Davis called for the foul. Patrick Ewing making his return. Herb Williams will depart. Rick Smith comes on for Antonio Davis. The Knicks by 13. Hubert Davis. Shot clock at 7. Here's Ewing, got the step, rejected by Smits. Reggie Miller has been quiet. Reggie Miller able to hit, although Hubert Davis had a piece of it.
Well, this is what concerns the New York coaching staff, whether or not Hubert Davis has the quickness and strength to stay with Reggie Miller. Reggie's not known as a one-on-one player, but he can put it on the floor a couple times and beat you to a spot.
The Knicks have missed their last 5 shots. It will be Indiana ball. Indiana Pacers during the regular season finished tied for 3rd in the Central, tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers, 10 games behind Atlanta, but they finished the regular season on fire. 8 straight wins, and then roared through the playoffs. First round, swept Orlando in 3, beat Atlanta in 6. And they've come back after trailing the Knicks 2-0 to tie this series at 2. Foul committed by Smits. And for Rick, his second timeout is called with 6:52 to go. First half, the Knicks lead by 11. 35-28. That Knick lead, 116, is now only 7. Antonio Davis came up short, and it's handled by Charles Oakley. Starks and Hopper in the backcourt. Oakley, Smith, and Ewing on the front line.
During that last timeout, Ahmad Rashad near the Indiana Pacer huddle talking, hearing Larry Brown talk to his team about getting more pressure defensively, start denying the passes, and try to keep the Knicks from reversing the ball. And of course, that's what the Knicks want to do, because when they do it, they get better opportunities to get it inside of Ewing or get a good shot in rhythm.
The Knicks only 3 of 12 in the second quarter. Indiana 6 of 14 for the field. Pretty backdoor pass leading to the foul. Charles Oakley reacting to the cutting Dale Davis.
John Starks following Miller hard. Patrick Ewing going to come up with a big show to deny the ball to Miller, but that opens up that passing lane to Dale Davis, and good help. And that's what the Knicks chart, help plays like that, as Charles Oakley read the play from the weak side, came over, couldn't block the shot because he doesn't have lift, but took the hard foul to put the poor free throw shooter on the line.
A brick thrown by Dale Davis, and Matt, the next successful free throw by the Pacers will be their first. 0 for 6 at the line. Make it 0 for 7 from the foul line.
And to win a game on the road in this kind of a series, you have to get a number of fast breaks and certainly convert them. And of course, you've got to make your free throws because it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Starks hits the three. That's his second from downtown tonight. Starks has 8 points. The Knicks 38. The Pacers 28. 3 minutes remaining, first half. Miller putting the move on Starks. Reggie Miller. Beautiful shot on a fadeaway jumper. His 4th field goal. He is 4 for 7 for 8 points. And the Knicks lead is now 8. Ewing. And Oakley gets the second chance. Hopper for 3. And the boards swept by Dale Davis. The ball will go back to the Knicks.
Well, John Starks, tenacious defense on Miller, making him work very hard. He doesn't foul him this time. Tries to get over the top, but Reggie Miller is going to earn this one as he has to put it on the floor and fade away on it. And Pat Riley and the Knicks really won't mind those kind of field goals by Reggie when he has to work.
Reggie Miller has hit his last 3. Knicks setting up a play. Ewing with the high pick. Starks for 3 again. John Starks is a street shooter, and he's in the midst of one right here. The Knicks lead by 11. Just under 2 minutes to go. First half illegal defense called for the second time. So that leads to the technical.
Knicks running their little screen roll on the left side. Actually, Harper wanted to get the ball back to Ewing, something he didn't do in Game 4. That was shut down, but the lane down and open in the middle took that, drew the defense, and a nice kick out to John Starks.
Well, Reggie Miller getting the treatment from the crowd, as he usually does here at Madison Square Garden. Anthony Mason is back, replacing Charles Smith. It's been a good one for Charles Smith. 4 out of 7, 8 points, 4 rebounds. Workman stopped by Harper. Miller again with the fadeaway. Harper penetrated and rejected. He claims he was fouled. The alley-oop. Antonio Davis could not put it down. But the Knicks turn it over. John Starks upset. And we don't take that personally, Matt. He did kick the NBA on NBC sign. But we know there was nothing personal involved.
I think John's a little upset with me. I don't know about you, Mark.
Oh? Tell us about it.
When we have time.
All right, here's McKee. And back comes Starks. John Starks called for palming the ball. Is he upset about something you said on a telecast?
Last one, yeah, when he did not take that charge on Dale Davis, and I said that would not look good when the team looked at the tape. It did not look good. Wow. But he didn't want me bringing it up. It's John Starks made a nice crossover move with the left hand and did get his hand under the ball he carried. Good call by Jack Madden.
And a technical foul has been called on Derek Harper.
Now, it's interesting there on that turnover by John Starks. He did the wise thing. He just turned around and ran back down the other end and didn't complain about the call. And Derek Harper complaining about 2 plays ago when he made that drive to the basket and his shot was blocked by Derek McKee. Once that play is over, forget about it. Go to the next one.
The Pacers 1 for 9 at the line. Knicks lead by 10 as we come up on 1 minute remaining in this first half. Shot clock at 5. Workman pounding it. And a loose ball foul called against the Knicks. It's called on Oakley, his second. The Knicks are now over the foul limit.
Well, we've had a couple of recent firsts in the closing minutes of the second quarter. Before Reggie Miller missed that technical free throw, he made the first one right before that. And about 2 trips ago, Charles Oakley got the first offensive rebound for New York. And one of the reasons why he has not been on the boards is he's standing out on the perimeter looking for that jump shot.
Just a horrendous free throw shooting performance by the Pacers in the first half. Antonio Davis is 0 for 3. Indiana 1 for 10 at the line. Antonio Davis saying thank you. He will take that role. The Knicks lead by 9. Light pressure being shown by the Pacers. Ewing from Mason. The Knicks like to see the big man, Anthony Mason, who handles the ball so well, handle it against the pressure.
And make the nice, easy pass where the man can catch and shoot it. He had the ball in the middle on a 3-on-2 earlier in the ballgame and made a careless pass. It just takes a little bit more care.
McKee with a beautiful move. Derek McKee with 8 points. He's played well in this first half. Knicks will hold for a final shot. They are up 43-34. Time running down in the first half. We are now down to 10 seconds to go. Oakley trying to set a pick. Hopper for 3. Oh! And a loose ball foul. It's against the Knicks. It's on Ewing. For Ewing, his second. Knicks over at the limit. So Indiana back to the line with 3 7/10 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, you hate to pick up a cheap foul in that situation as Patrick Ewing shaking his head. He just put his hands out ever so slightly, but enough to have that play roll. But Derek Harper in a little screen roll situation, instead of ducking behind that pick, has to come off a couple of dribbles, make the defense react, either throw the ball back to the screener or try to penetrate and kick out to a shooter.
Antonio Davis now 2 of 5 from the line, and Indiana 3 for 11. Antonio Davis shooting his second. Whoa! He hit glass, did not hit the rim. And it's too late. Would not have counted. So, a familiar scenario, another low-scoring half. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Ahmad Rashad from Madison Square Garden in New York. The Knicks 43, the Pacers 35, and we're just about set to start the third quarter. Charles Oakley came into tonight's game with a sprained left ankle. For more on that, let's go to Ahmad.
Thanks, Marv. I just talked with Oakley during the warm-ups. He says that foot has become very sore. It's very tough to play on it, so we'll keep an eye on it during this course of this second half. Marv?
All right, in the first half, Oakley 2 of 6 from the field, 6 points, 6 rebounds. Charles Smith getting the good room down low. That's been the story right throughout. He now has 10 points.
Well, he has come out aggressively in the first quarter, now in the third, with the idea of taking the ball to the basket. He can get that jump shot anytime.
Here's Rick Smits. Very quiet first half for Smits. That's his 3rd field goal. He has 6 points. Rick Smits has played Patrick Ewing, at least over the first 4 games, to a standstill. And that a major factor in this series. A series that is tied at 2. As Larry Brown and Reggie Miller told us prior to the game, Eric Harper getting it inside for Patrick Ewing with the shot clock running down. And the Knicks now lead by 10. Larry and Reggie saying that this tonight is the biggest game in the history of the Indiana Pacers. That's the NBA history of the franchise. Much success for the Pacers during their ABA days. Workman converts on the jump shot. Indiana Pacers in their ABA days won 3 championships. The last time back in 1973 as they beat the Kentucky Colonels. Smith called for that foul, and that is his 4th.
Well, Indiana taking advantage of Patrick Ewing fronting the post, form a triangle on the right side, get the ball out to a good passer, Jarek McKee, who has the easy lob pass to the 7'4" Rick Smits, but he is going to have to go to the bench as he hammers Charles Smith going to the hole. Hayward Workman doing a good job of denying the ball. Harper as one more time Smits trying to block that shot, but Smith using his body very well to draw that contact.
And it is a rare trip to the foul line for Charles Smith. Ray Smith sits down. Antonio Davis now will have to contend with the taller Patrick Ewing. Davis comes on for Smiths. Well, Smith has gone to the line only 4 times the first 4 games. Hits 2 right here. He has 12 points. And the Knicks lead by 10 with a minute and a half gone by in the third quarter. Nice fake by McKee. And he was held by Smith.
Well, that quick spin move to the baseline surprised Charles Smith. All he could do was try to reach out and grab. This is an excellent move, but Robert Parrish has done so well for so long.
Indiana opening the third quarter as Hopper tried to strip Workman. Workman and Miller in the backcourt. McKee, Dale Davis, and Antonio Davis up front as Workman hits again. 6 points for Workman. Antonio Davis coming on for the foul play. Rick Smiths.
Well, that's 2 times in a row that Harper has left his man Workman, who's a 33% shooter from the field in this series, and he's nailed 2 of them.
John Starks trying the 3, hit 2 in the first half. Miller for Antonio Davis. Offensive foul. Second foul committed by Davis.
Reggie Miller coming off on the 2-man play. Nice little bounce pass, and Patrick Ewing doing a good job of making the rotation. And when you're rotating to not necessarily good outside shooter, although Antonio Davis can make 15-footers, Patrick Ewing got to the perfect spot.
Oakley, yes. 8 points for Oakley. The Knicks 51. The Pacers 41.
Well, the Knicks only have 1 offensive rebound. Oakley has that. He's been hanging on the perimeter. I think a lot of it has to do with that sore foot. He's trying to save himself for the defensive end, and he'll pop that outside jumper.
That was a good look for Reggie Miller. Beautifully set screen. Hopper eluding McKee. Smith on the run. Smith off the drive. And he'll go back to the line.
Well, whoever said to Charles Smith, get yourself aggressive, start taking the ball to the basket with authority, and good things will happen for you, whether it was somebody on the coaching staff or Charles Smith made up his own mind. He is certainly making a valuable contribution to New York here tonight, one that they desperately need from that small forward spot, which is what Pat Riley was telling us earlier.
That's Charles Smith making it back this season from the arthroscopic knee surgery, and his scoring averages over the years have certainly dipped off. Got the playing time as a member of the LA Clippers. He has been in and out of the Knick lineup at first. Did not adjust to the change in position. Then had the knee problems, did not play well for a spell. Foul is called. Starks raising his hand, and he is hit with his 3rd.
A little surprised John Starks got himself caught underneath the basket, but there again, the natural instincts of the Knicks players to help out on that whip pass. Starks winds up with Davis, and knowing that he is not a good free throw shooter and struggling tonight from the line, 3 for 13 in the series, better put him on the line rather than give him a dunk.
The Knicks lead by 12. And you see Dale Davis 0 for 5 at the line. It will be Nick Ball, last touched by Dale Davis. And Indiana now 3 of 15 at the foul line. Reaching foul call. Derek McKee called for his 3rd. So Smith sitting down with 4. McKee has 3. For the Knicks, 3 apiece on Smith and Starks. 8.5 remaining in this third quarter. Smith facing a double team, able to weave inside.
Charles Smith has been the primary option motion here to start the third period. Looking for him first on the post. If they don't get it, then they'll swing it around and look inside to Patrick Ewing at the end of the shot clock.
We're seeing a performance by Charles Smith that has rarely been seen here at the Garden this season. 10 points for Derek McKee, and the Knicks now lead 55-43. 16 points for Charles Smith. Patrick Ewing leading the Knicks with 17. Smith with 8 of his 16 here in the third quarter. Shot clock at 5. Starks with the finger roll. McKee handling it. Miller for 3. And rebounded by Smith. The Knicks with the ball and a 12-point lead. Oakley with no hesitation goes too strong. And the rebound handled by Antonio Davis.
Again, Charles hanging on the perimeter and taking that long jumper too readily.
Antonio Davis a bit out of his range. Workman now played on a switch by Ewing, looking for the mismatch, and he found it. McKee diving on the floor, but Ewing took it out of his hands, and they'll jump it up. Joe Crawford with the call, but first Pat Riley takes a timeout. 6:51 remaining in the third. The Knicks have a 12-point advantage.
Well, as Patrick Ewing dives for a loose ball to force a jump ball as the players start to disengage, Haywood Workman with just a little fake tap on the top of the left knee of Patrick Ewing is going to get himself a technical foul. And as the two players parted, Patrick Ewing had a message for Haywood Workman, which earned him a technical. And now Patrick has 5 in the series.
Patrick Ewing with his 5th technical. That's for the entire playoffs. And Bernard Maxwell leading the way with 9. So double technicals called on Workman and Ewing. 6:51 remaining in the third quarter. The Knicks lead by 12. The jump ball called on the tie-up. Ewing going against McKee. And the Knicks control. The Knicks with a backcourt of Hopper and Starks. Ewing, Oakley, and Smith up front. That was intended for Ewing.
And a little too fast and too hard, and really Patrick Ewing not even getting a chance to get his hands up. Antonio Davis does a good job of pushing Patrick Ewing out or fronting him. That time he got around in front of Ewing. And the Knicks are really not a good lob passing team. They've gotten away with a couple to Charles Smith, but they don't do it well.
Miller putting the move on Starks. Went to the pull-up. And Hopper on the rebound. Reggie Miller now 4 of 11. He has 9 points. Hopper trying to go all the way, and he was hit. Haywood Workman tried to knock it loose and made contact. Call for his 3rd foul.
Well, a concerted effort by Workman to put more pressure on Harper at the start of this third period. And when you are getting that kind of pressure, you should look to drop your head and penetrate.
And a hold called on Miller. That's his first, and Indiana now over the limit.
I think Reggie Miller starting to get a little bit frustrated with the way that John Starks has played him, and it has not been a talking type of thing. He's just played him very well and made him work for everything. And Reggie Miller just caught with a little bit of a grab on John Starks.
John Starks has been off at the free throw line, usually a very fine free throw shooter. In fact, earlier in the playoffs against Chicago, he hit 11 of 11 at the line.
9 for 18 in the series coming into this ballgame, and that one was a little bit lucky as John started to back up as he released it. Not as confident as he normally is right now.
But for Starks, this one of his better games of the playoffs. 13 points, 7 assists, and again has done a good job against Reggie Miller. 6 minutes to go in the third. Ball knocked away from Dale Davis. Again, a jump ball is called.
Well, trademark defense by the New York Knicks against the 2-man play on screen and rolls. 99 times out of 100 they trap it, and then when they rotate they are very, very active and put pressure on it and knock this one loose to force yet another jump ball.
Charles Oakley going against a man who can leap, Dale Davis. In fact, Larry Brown uses Dale Davis on the opening tips rather than Rick Smith's, and Indiana control it. Knicks lead 57-43. They have led all the way. They open the game with a 15-2 lead. Here's Miller for three. Reggie Miller getting the room and was able to knock down the three-pointer. The Knicks lead by 11. And for the Pacers, their first successful shot from downtown. They're 3 of 28 in the series. Offensive foul. It's called on Smith, and that is 4 on Charles Smith.
Well, this time with a little bit of a nudge, Reggie Miller able to shake loose of John Starks, catches this one with the feet squared up. And when he has that kind of time and that kind of room as Reggie Miller trying to duck on the top side over the screen of Charles Smith. And they call that foul on Charles Smith as he looks incredulously. What did I do?
Charles Smith hearing it from the crowd as he is replaced by Anthony Mason. Strong game for Smith. 16 points, 6 rebounds. Shot clock down to 4. Workman, yes. Hayward Workman has hit 4 out of 8. He has 8 points. And the Pacers have cut into that Knick lead. It's down to 9 with just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Hopper with room for 3. Derek Hopper has not been hitting the outside shot. 60-48. The Knicks with the lead. Antonio Davis. No call. Last touched by Ewing as it carried out of bounds.
Well, when Antonio Davis makes up his mind he's going to take the ball to the basket, he doesn't care who is in front of him. And Patrick Ewing, standing and waiting, takes the hit hard and goes hard to the floor. No whistle.
4:33 remaining in the third, and the Knicks lead by 12. Game 2 of this series last Thursday night here in New York. Reggie Miller, showing his frustration, stepped out of bounds after stealing the ball, took it out on a computer printer at the official scorer's table. We asked Reggie about his outburst leading to his throwing a punch at that courtside statistical printer.
I know I was going to go out there and shoot around and look for it, but I guess they put it in the bag, so I feel kind of bad about it, but you know, it's part of the game, so I'm sorry.
We said literally it was a technical foul.
That's a good one, Mark.
Thank you very much.
I like that.
Well, the guys at the official scorer's table not taking any chances. That's the one that was broken, just in case they have 2 courtside statistical printers should Reggie get upset and want to take a swipe at one once again.
And with Reggie, you also have to hide the sawdust at the other end of the floor. Every time he wants to go to the free throw line, he wants to dust off. It's fine at his end of the floor, but you don't want to help him.
And the officials checking with each other. Joey Crawford with the outside look, blowing his whistle. Dan Crawford and Jack Madden in disagreement. Pat Riley says, why not jump it up?
Well, Oakley and Davis going for the ball. It looks like Dale Davis knocked that ball out of bounds as he had the inside position. And, of course, he's got the longer reach over Oakley.
But it is called. Indiana ball. 12-point lead by the Knicks. 4:25 remaining in the third. Workman played tightly by Hopper. Shot clock at 6. Shot clock at 3. Workman had to force it. And Oakley with the rebound.
Well, that's the kind of defense that the Knicks have played all night long. Pressure on the ball, forcing tough shots, keeping Indiana from getting into any smooth set offense.
And the call away from the ball as Ewing was pushed by Dale Davis. That's 3 on Dale Davis.
And Davis telling the official that he flopped here as Davis trying to push him out a little bit. And with a little bit of acting, Patrick Ewing able to get the whistle from the referees. But it's so important when you're guarding Patrick Ewing to knock him off that block. But you have to be very careful how you do it. You cannot root him out with your knee. You're allowed to shove with one forearm.
Indiana's been over the limit for some time. Ewing kind of short on that free throw. The Knicks had hit 12 of 13 from the line. And Patrick had hit his first three. The crowd trying to get it going.
Well, neither team can get anything going offensively in the half court because the defense has been so aggressive that every pass now has been challenged, and it's very difficult to get the ball into the post where normally there's going to be some kind of a double team, especially against the Patrick Ewing.
The Knicks have a 13-point lead. And the foul is called on Mason. He and McKee were battling for position.
Same thing at the other end as the smaller Anthony Mason at 6'7" going to push 6'10" Derek McKee way outside, but officials trying to keep that part of the game under control because it could get out of hand.
Fleming down the backcourt with Reggie Miller, who fires. Rebounded by Antonio Davis. A new 24 for the Pacers. Starks trying to draw the foul. The official, Joe Crawford, did not go for it. A little acting by John Starks. Reggie Miller now has 14 points. The Knicks lead 61-50. Bad pass. Wild one thrown by Oakley. Charles Oakley had 8 turnovers the other day in Indiana. Here's Miller. Rebounded by Antonio Davis. And now he is fouled. Charles Oakley getting a little casual, a little sloppy with his passing, and it has hurt the last couple of games.
Well, there was the shove-off by Reggie Miller to just knock John Starks back a little bit before he nailed that jumper. Just a mild complaint by John Starks as he wisely went back and played basketball. Right before this offensive rebound by Antonio Davis, Reggie tried another one of his floaters. Patrick Ewing challenged the shot, could not get it, but that enabled Antonio Davis, the man Ewing was guarding, to get a clean run at an offensive rebound.
Byron Scott and LaSalle Thompson, couple of veterans, checking back in. That is Dale Davis sitting down. Indiana now 4 of 16 at the line. Antonio Davis, who hauled down that rebound, now has 8. And the Pacers are doing it off the offensive boards, 9-1.
And Bert Fleming putting up double fist, possibly looking for a random trap in this situation. If they can get a run and jump situation, none has shown up yet.
Mason played by McKee. Starks wide open. Yes. John Starks hitting his 4th three-pointer. 16 points for Starks. The Knicks 64 and the Pacers 52. Of 5 of 10 from three-point land. LaSalle Thompson. Throw it away. Ewing played by Thompson. Knicks swinging the ball. And a foul on Thompson. LaSalle Thompson has seen very limited action in this series. Pacers actually surprised that he's been able to come back. They thought he was out the rest of the playoffs after he suffered the broken bone in his left hand in game 1 of the series against the Orlando Magic.
Well, it is over a month ago. A lot of things could have happened in that time period, as it was done on April 28th, the first game, as he just inadvertently bumped into Shaquille O'Neal and broke a bone in that hand. The Knicks did a good job of showing a lot of patience that time and getting the ball inside to Patrick Ewing on a transition play. Their offense just looks so much better. Now, a lot of that is because the defense has been so good. They've gotten so many fast breaks that will even make the New York Knicks offense look pretty at times.
Ewing 5 for 6 at the line. The Knicks lead 66-52 as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Ahmad Rashad before a sellout crowd at Madison Square Garden. Here's Vern Fleming. Yes, and it counts. Vern Fleming with a beautiful move. And he drew the foul.
Well, Vern Fleming does a very good job using his left hand, as he always goes very well to the left. He has to change it over to the right hand, but you saw that graphic before. Patrick Ewing just 1 rebound. He did block 4 shots in the first half, changed a few more, and he's been going after everything in the third quarter. And when you're that active, you're not going to get a lot of rebounds.
Another offensive rebound for Indiana. Down by 12. Byron Scott trying to shake loose. Thompson with a good pass. Thompson for Antonio Davis. Very impressive numbers now for Antonio Davis. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 10-point Knick lead. They trap Hopper. Minute and a half remaining in this third quarter. Shot clock at 7. Mason. Rebounded by Thompson, who's done a nice job. Scott. Antonio Davis. Brown wanted to travel. He lost it.
Well, we've seen a number of real nice spin moves on the baseline. Very difficult to defend when that offensive player makes that quick move. And if you're standing straight up, your first reaction is put your hands out.
Hopper will reset. 50 seconds remaining in the third. Starks with room. And Mason recovers. Knicks get the new 24. Ewing drawing the double team. Oakley lost it. Starks recaptures. Here's Starks for Oakley. And a foul call.
Well, the Knicks in a hurry here with the situation where they're trying to get 2 shots for 1, and there's now 28.8 seconds. I believe that's a .8. Yes, it is left in the quarter. And John Starks rushing things in there, drawing the defense, and now we have another technical foul.
Larry Brown has been working the sidelines in aggressive fashion, at least vocally. And he is called for the technical foul. John Starks will shoot it.
Larry giving the rabbit ear signal to referee Danny Crawford. I guess objecting to the fact that Charles Oakley didn't deserve to get put on the free throw line, as he just kind of leaned his body in. There's no way that Charles Oakley is himself bothered by that sore foot. He's not active on the offensive board. He's kind of hanging on the perimeter at the offensive end, trying to do his best. And his defensive end has forced a couple of shots and some passes, but he wants to be out on the floor and make a contribution to his team in this crucial 5th game.
Charles Oakley 2 of 2 from the line. 8 points, 9 rebounds. 28 seconds remaining in the third. Greg Anthony has not seen much action here tonight. He's checking in. Placing Derek Hopper. LaSalle Thompson now departs. Knicks lead 67-56. Indiana Pacers have lost 11 straight here at Madison Square Garden and 31 of their last 33. A different story at home. They have won their last 10 straight games overall at home going back to the regular season. Shot clock is at 5. Fleming with another nice move. 7 seconds to go in the quarter. The Knicks lead by 10. Mason for Herb Williams. The former Indiana Pacer, Herb Williams, extends the Knicks lead as time runs out in this third quarter. And in this third, the Knicks were led by Charles Smith. 8 of his 16 points in the third. The Knicks 70, the Pacers 58. On to the fourth quarter here at Madison Square Garden in New York. The Knicks with a 70-58 lead after 3. For the Knicks, that is a very high point total. When you consider they had 77 in Game 4 and 69 for all of Game 3. should say 68 in Game 3. Rick Smits with the move on Herb Williams. Rick Smits playing with 4 fouls. Greg Anthony in the backcourt with John Starks, Herb Williams, Anthony Mason, and Charles Oakley up front. Starks looking for the screen. Starks rebounded by Kenny Williams. And Vern Fleming moves down. Fleming and Miller in the backcourt. Here's Miller. Yes, that's a 3 for Reggie Miller. 17 points for Miller. And the Knicks now lead by 9.
And Reggie's starting to chirp a little with some people on the front row. Not at John Starks, but the Knicks, of course, pride themselves on their fourth quarter defense. We'll see.
Oakley, foul. Also caught Fleming in the throat on the follow-through. Rick Smits called for the foul. His 5th. Vern Fleming shake it up. And that's the Indiana trainer, David Craig, checking him out.
Of course, Vern Fleming has had some tough injuries this year, none tougher than when Shaquille O'Neal fell on top of him and he lost 15 teeth as they went through his lower lip, and also took a gash on his knee for 12 big stitches as Charles Oakley's follow-through trying to catch Vern Fleming right in that throat area, and he's in a lot of pain right now. Rick Smits is just having an awful game, and of course that was a big key for Indiana coming in. Not only has he not scored, he's had the foul problems and 6 turnovers, which got the Knicks started off on the right foot in the first quarter.
And this had been a solid series for the 7'4" Rick Smits. He's played only 18 minutes. Scored only 6 points. The Knicks 72 and the Pacers 61. So Workman now in the backcourt with Miller. Dale Davis up front, along with LaSalle Thompson and Kenny Williams. Hubert Davis, who just checked in, called for the foul. Matt, I believe this is a new playoff record. Most Davises on the floor in a single game. Hubert Davis for the Knicks, Antonio and Dale Davis for the Pacers. We'll have to check out the record book. Miller's pass broken up. And it will be Indiana ball. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, Vern Fleming, as you just called it, took a shot to the throat, and he is now, they're applying the cure-all ice to it, and he appears to be fine, and he will be able to come back into the game. Marv?
Reggie Miller is fine. Once again, hits from downtown. He has 20 points. And that Knick lead has been trimmed to 8. And one stretch they led by as many as 16. That was back in the first half. A minute 45 in, fourth quarter. Thompson jumping out for the steal, and that is fouled by Davis. LaSalle Thompson has done an excellent job in very limited time.
And Hubert Davis is having all kinds of problems now with Reggie Miller as he tried to go over the screen, and when you do that, it gives Reggie Miller all kinds of time to line that shot up. You have to follow him hard and then trust your teammates are going to help you.
Miller comes off the pick. Outplayed by Anthony. Thompson setting the screen. Screen and roll. Thompson picked up by Oakley. Shot clock at 5. Workman. And the rebound handled by Dale Davis. And poked away. Ewing establishing position, but Thompson saw the pass coming, and he does it again.
Well, they're telling the Graf the passes, and they are bounce passes and very slow. And Thompson, who's not the fleetest of foot, is able to get a hand and knock him loose.
Here's Williams. Kenny Williams with a nice move. And the Pacers on a roll have come within 6. Timeout called by the Knicks.
Well, this little bounce pass out here. On the other hand, Patrick Ewing has to protect that passer instead of continuing to fight for that position. Step out and catch the pass as Kenny Williams finishes off the play at the other end.
.9:25 remaining in the fourth, and the Pacers within 6. Kept alive again by Dale Davis. Here's Miller, swings away and hits. Reggie Miller is on fire. He has 22, and Indiana has moved within 4.
Well, it looks like Reggie is going to try to carry that offense on his shoulders. He keeps looking over to that sideline. and has a comment after every time he makes a field goal.
This is the closest the Pacers have been since the early moments when it was 7-2. A turnover committed by the Knicks. Patrick Ewing not able to handle that pass from Hubert Davis. Let's go to a live.
During that last timeout, Larry Brown telling his players that when Reggie Miller comes off the pick and they double Reggie, he wants you to kick it back to the point guard and enable Haywood Workman to take the open jump shot.
Well, Reggie Miller has been getting the open shot in the second half. He now has 22 points in all. Indiana in the midst of a 10-2 run. Down by only 4. LaSalle Thompson with the ball has been a major factor. Miller open again. His foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer. And Reggie Miller in an animated discussion with Spike Lee, who is an ardent Knicks fan and has a courtside seat. I think Spike has him revved up.
Well, he can't get John Starks to talk to him, or Hubert Davis, or anybody on the Knicks, so he's talking to the fans.
Another Knicks turnover. Here's Workman, and he's fouled by Hoffer.
Reggie Miller losing John Starks this time for the wide open shot. His right foot was on the line, and Reggie will have something to say to Spike Lee. A 12-2 run now by the Pacers as Pat Riley, after that timeout, came out with Derek Harper and John Starks not happy at all with the way Greg Anthony and Hubert Davis were defending.
And Reggie Miller has accounted for 10 of the 12 Indiana points here in the fourth quarter. Reggie Miller giving the choke sign to Spike Lee. Spike is appealing to the official, Dan Crawford. I don't think that Spike realizes he's not in the game. It does not matter what Reggie does in the direction of Spike Lee. He wants a taunting foul called on Reggie. Reggie's taunting Spike Lee.
After every field goal.
Game tied at 72. 4 minutes gone by. Again, LaSalle Thompson is able to steal the pass. Now, I would think the Knicks would realize that there's something wrong at this point. That's 3 entry passes that LaSalle Thompson has picked off.
Well, it's twofold. It's the passer not getting low enough below the free. Look at this shot.
And he hits it. It's a 3-pointer for Reggie Miller, who again is staring in the direction of, yes, that man. The Pacers lead 75-72 with 7:39 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And good defense by there. You're playing a man 26, 27 feet away from the basket. And Reggie Miller has one idea on his mind right now, and that's shoot the ball every time he touches it.
Would you guess that there will not be a future acting role in Reggie's movie career with Spike? Well, this crowd trying to get the Knicks going, but Reggie Miller has turned it around for the Indiana Pacers. Reggie quiet over the first 3 games of the series. Came forth with 31 in game number 4 and has been talking it up on the court and doing it with the jump shot. We talked about that with Reggie Miller.
You know, I don't go out there to start trouble or anything like that, but you know, in this game, everyone talks. You know, it's just not me. I mean, Derek Harper was talking just as much as I was, but because people think I'm known for it, you know, I'm the one who gets all the headlines for it. So, you know, we're just out there. I call it psychological warfare. Everyone's trying to get an edge. So, everyone knows how to play this game physically, but I think mentally is what gets people over the edge.
Well, Reggie Miller has been using what he calls the psychological warfare to his advantage. But for the most part, it has not been with Knicks players. The taunting has been with Knicks fan, movie director, Spike Lee.
Well, none of the Knicks players will respond to him, and clearly the Knicks are shaken right now. Offensively, they almost threw that ball away as Anthony Mason had his head turned and having all kinds of problems getting the ball inside to Patrick Ewing. The passer not doing a good job. Patrick not doing a good job of protecting that passer. And you got a man on fire in Reggie Miller right now, so the Knicks are reeling.
Reggie Miller with 13 of his 27 points here in the fourth quarter. LaSalle Thompson has come off the bench and done a superb job. And with that big body, he's also been effective at setting picks to allow Miller to unleash in this fourth quarter. 5 minutes into the fourth. Here's Miller again. Reggie Miller Pacers lead by 5.
Well, the whole Pacer offense right now is everybody look to set a screen for Reggie Miller, and he'll do the rest of the work. Work his man off that screen, set up, and shoot the ball. And it doesn't really look like anything he can do right now. He's so far away on the floor to double team him, and John Starks is working very hard.
And remember, most of Miller's points the other day as Hopper misfires on the three, most of his points came at the foul line. It was 17 for 19. He has not had this kind of shooting performance. 16 of his 30 have come in the fourth quarter. Here's Kenny Williams, rebounded by Charles Oakley. Indiana has outscored the Knicks 20-3 in the fourth. Well, apparently they changed that last shot to a two-pointer. He had stepped on the line. All right, here's Hopper for 3. Indiana leads by 5. Miller's hit his last 4 shots. Here's Miller for 3. Yes! Oh, Pat Riley calls for time. Just an astounding shooting exhibition being put on by Reggie Miller. And now we're told they did not change it to a three-point shot. Here's a look at the last 3 by Reggie Miller, but it appeared that Miller did step on the line. This a previous shot. All right, Miller teeing it up, Matt. Put on the line. That should have been a 2, but they counted it as a 3.
Well, again, that time, Dale Davis, out of control on a fast break, jumped in the air and had to twist his body in a very awkward position to throw it outside to Reggie Miller. And for some unknown reason, Charles Smith was just running away, and there was Reggie Miller standing wide open. Anybody on the Knicks is going to have to find this guy and stay with him and try and deny him the basketball. The craziest thing was the play before Kenny Williams took a shot. I don't know why.
Reggie Miller, 42% from three-point land for the season. First 2 rounds, you see he shot well. Not the case going into today, but tonight, 6 of 11 from three-point land. 5 for 5 from downtown in this fourth quarter. 19 points for Miller in the fourth. He has destroyed the Knicks, and the Knicks have gone cold. They're trailing by 8 points. Foul is called. Foul on Kenny Williams. Correction is on LaSalle Thompson. And now Antonio Davis will come on, along with Derek McKee and LaSalle Thompson being greeted back at the bench. What a terrific effort. The type of effort that will not show up on the stat sheet.
Well, his main job was to put that big body on the baseline and knock people off to get Reggie Miller those clean looks. And Reggie, of course, has done the rest.
Hopper through the foul. Meanwhile, Patrick Ewing has attempted only 2 shots in the second half. He is 0 for 2 from the field. This after the strong first half.
Well, they can't get the ball to Patrick Ewing. It's a 23-3 run. This ball game started out as the Knicks ran off and led 28-16, only led by 8 points at the halftime, and Larry Brown told Ahmad that he said to his team, hey, for as poorly as we played and missing free throws, we're not in such bad shape. Let's just try to hang around and give ourselves a chance in the fourth quarter.
Reggie Miller with 24 of his 33 points in the second half, 19 here in the fourth quarter.
The ball on the left side of the floor. Kenny Williams going to screen down for Reggie Miller coming off. Starks staying close, but Charles Smith is going to drop all the way down here. What he has to do is come out here and either deny the ball or step out and help. He doesn't do it, and Reggie Miller gets wide open for another jump shot.
Indiana has outscored the Knicks here in the fourth quarter by the count of 23-5. Reggie Miller with 19 of the 23 Indiana points. Pacers lead 81-75. 5:25 to go in the fourth. A remarkable turnaround by Indiana. And it will be Nick Ball. Last touch by Workman. Larry Brown not happy with that call.
The Knicks getting a little dose of the Pacers' medicine right back as Patrick Ewing this time fronted Smith. Smith, and he did not step out to protect the passer.
Rick Smith's playing with 5 fouls. Starks with the duck-away move on Miller for 3. On the back tap, Knicks recover. Oakley for Ewing. Patrick Ewing going glass. Cuts it to a 4-point. Indiana lead.
Patrick was thinking tomahawk dunk that time, but he got resistance from Smith as Harper gets nailed in the backcourt.
Harper got picked off. Miller looking for the shot, does not force it. Shot clock is at 10. Here's Smits drawing a double team, finding Workman. Shot clock at 5. Workman had it knocked away, then recovered. McKee with the setup. Davis split. And it's a 24-second violation. What an aggressive defensive sequence that was.
And now the Pacers, for some unknown reason, trying to go inside to Rick Smith and going away from the hot hand Reggie Miller, and the aggressive New York defense is taking advantage of it.
The Knicks are only 1 of 6 from the field here in the 4th. Harper and Starks at the guard. Ewing, Smith, Oakley on the front line. We come up on 4 minutes to go. Ewing fouled by Smits, and that is 6th.
That time Patrick Ewing fought for and got good position, and knowing Rick Smith's in foul trouble and about to foul out, just dipped that shoulder and took it hard to the hole. The first clean catch by Patrick Ewing in the post in quite some time.
So Rick Smits with only 6 points and 2 rebounds. So that means a matchup of Antonio Davis, at least for the moment. Earlier, Larry Brown did go with the veteran, the 6'10" LaSalle Thompson. Ewing, 7 of 8 from the line, 23 points. The Knicks in the first half led by as many as 16. Indiana with the tear here in the 4th quarter. Now the Knicks coming back, down by 2. 81-79. Harper hand-checking Workman. The cat of defense. Harper going for the steal, made contact, and he is called for the foul. His 4th.
Well, Workman, who has been pressured all night long and very well by Derek Harper, that time just wearing Derek Harper down and finally beating him on the dribble. And I think Harper just got tired and just reached in and grabbed.
The Knicks with their 4th team foul. Indiana with 5. Again, the pressure. Workman finally gets it back. Miller tried to come off the pick, lost the dribble. Oakley dives for it. Starks try to save it from a backcourt violation, and now it is a backcourt violation. Or let's see, perhaps a 24-second violation. Yes, they reset the 24. And it will be Pacer ball.
I guess they're going to rule that Charles Oakley had possession as he dove for that ball, but the Knicks did a much better job that time. Reggie Miller was coming off a double stagger screen, and Charles Oakley showed way out, which made Reggie Miller fumble that ball.
Timeout taken. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go. In this 4th quarter, they've changed to a 20-second timeout. Pacers take a 20. Indiana now holding on to a 2-point lead.
Well, there, Reggie Miller fumbled that ball against the good defense of John Starks, and you really couldn't see Oakley, but he was the one who forced Reggie to fumble it. And on that dive and catch, they ruled a change of possession, and as Charles Oakley tried to throw it back to John Starks, referee Joey Crawford realized that the shot clock had not changed, and that's why he blew the whistle.
Well, for the Knicks, another eventful game number 5. Earlier, we showed you the highlight of last season's Game 5 between the Knicks and the Bulls in the conference finals. And remember, the Knicks had won the first 2 games of the series a year ago against the Bulls and then lost 4 in a row. Now, that was Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, but here are the Knicks faced with the same prospect. They win the first 2, lose the next 2, trailing here in Game 5.
Well, they came out ready to play, had a very good first half, but it's a 48-minute game, and these lulls come for all teams, and we'll see if the Knicks can withstand it.
Crowd wanted to travel on McKee. Miller pumps and hits again. 35 for Reggie Miller. 14 of 26 from the field. 21 of the 35 have come here in the fourth quarter. The playoff record most points in a quarter is 29. Eric Sleepy Floyd did it for Golden State back in May of '87. And Reggie Miller with 21 in the fourth. Indiana leads by 4. Starks with the reverse. Rebound Oakley. And then picked up by McKee. Just under 3 minutes to go. In this fourth quarter, it is a wild finish with the Pacers turning it around, and they extend the lead as Dale Davis hits his third field goal to give the Pacers a 6-point advantage.
But when a great offensive player has it going, there is not a whole lot you can do except keep the ball out of his hands. John Starks draped all over Reggie Miller, face in his hands, still can't stop it.
2:45 remaining in the fourth. It has been a very impressive performance by the Pacers here in the fourth quarter. An Indiana club that has won only 2 of the last 33 here at Madison Square Garden, but an Indiana team that has been potent at home. They've not only won during the course of the playoffs, but they have won big most of the time, making these final 2 minutes and 45 seconds critical for the New York Knicks. They're down 85-79 with 2:35 remaining now, with Harper moving to the top of the circle. Starks for Oakley. Open shot. Charles Oakley not able to hit. And it's run down by Reggie Miller. And a foul is called. A push on Patrick Ewing. Both teams are over the foul limit.
Well, Reggie, quicker of foot than Patrick Ewing, able to chase down that loose ball in the right corner, was trying to, I think, call timeout to prevent a turnover, but he got a break there as he got shoved by Patrick Ewing. The three-point game of the Indiana Pacers has been dormant throughout this series. Just 3 for 21 coming into this game, but it has come alive with this man. 6 for 11 today. When you put him on the free throw line, a 91% shooter for the year, and shooting that in this series as well.
Indiana has outscored the Knicks 28-9 in the fourth. Reggie Miller now with 23 of Indiana's 29 points in the fourth quarter. And Indiana leads by 8. We mentioned Eric Sleepy Floyd, most points in a quarter in the playoffs with 29, and Reggie Miller is right on track. Pacers with an 87-79 lead. A Knick collapse here in the fourth. Charles Smith, rebounded by Derek McKee.
Well, it's partly a Knicks collapse, but you have to give a lot of credit to the Indiana Pacer defense. They out-nicked the Knicks in this fourth period. Started it with their pressure defense and just kept preventing the ball from going into Patrick Ewing, and the Knick defense became stagnant.
Here's Miller for 2. A rare miss for Reggie Miller. Harper pushes it down. Harper, and he is fouled. Domino effect back behind the basket. Hopper taking McKee and Smith with him.
Well, nothing much working for the Knicks, so Derek Harper trying to put it on his shoulders to create something on a kind of open floor situation and take the ball to the basket, looking for a three-point play. John Starks, throughout a lot of this second half, because he had some success shooting three-pointers, maybe he started looking for too many of them. That play before where he just comes off the Ewing screen at about 16, 17 feet is normally a good play for John Starks and Patrick Ewing. The Knicks have not run it enough.
Foul was called on Antonio Davis. His 5th. 6-point lead for the Pacers. Minute 34 remaining. Indiana with a 29-11 edge on the Knicks here in the fourth. The Knicks have hit only 1 of 9 from the field. Miller checked the basket. 8 on the shot clock. Dumps it off for Antonio Davis, who gets inside. Antonio Davis protecting the ball and extends to an 8-point Pacer lead. A shocking finish here in the fourth quarter. Indiana by 8. We come up on a minute to go. offensive foul. It's on Patrick Ewing.
Patrick stepping out to try to free up John Starks for a three-point shot, leaning into Reggie Miller, who does the little Hollywood job of acting to fall down hard. Patrick Ewing not agreeing with the call. Take another look. And I could see why Patrick would disagree with that call. Seemed to be standing still and holding that screen.
Well, art Knick fans, Knick historians would compare this Indiana performance, and if they hold on for the victory, to one game in Knick history, but Oakley with a steal, then McKee wraps it up and they'll jump it up. You'd have to go back to April of 1971 when a highly favored New York Knicks team, the year after they won their first championship, talking of the Knicks of Willis Reed and Walt Frazier and Dave DeBusschere and Dick Barnett and Bill Bradley, lost to the Bullets in a huge upset in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final right here at Madison Square Garden. They lost by 2 points and the crowd sat stunned. This is the closest to that moment. Still 53 seconds remaining though. We'll be right back. On the right, the president of the New York Knicks, Dave Checketts. On the left, Vice President, General Manager Ernie Grunfeld, looking stunned by developments here in the fourth quarter. The Knicks led by as many as 16 in the first half. Pat Riley's ball club now trailing the Indiana Pacers 89-81. The Knicks going cold again. This time 1 for 9 in the fourth quarter. Outscored 31-11 by the Pacers in the fourth. A spectacular performance by Reggie Miller. 14 of 26 overall, 37 points. 23 of his 37 in the fourth. Overall, he's hit 6 from downtown. Here's Ewing. Patrick Ewing gets inside. Like Antonio Davis was shaken up as he was picked off, hurt his elbow. Timeout is called by the Pacers with 45 seconds remaining in the fourth, and Indiana up by 6, and both teams are down to 1 timeout left.
Well, on the jump ball, Antonio Davis battling with Patrick Ewing as they get all tangled up, and as Davis hit the deck, he either bruised that elbow or caught the funny bone, as he's still in a lot of pain over on the Indiana Pacer bench.
Still 45 seconds remaining, but if the Indiana Pacers hold on and defeat the New York Knicks, they would be in position to make it back from 0-2 to win a best of 7. Game number 6 coming up back at Indianapolis on Friday night. These are the teams that have come back from 0-2 deficits, including the Chicago Bulls against the New York Knicks in the Eastern Finals a year ago, and Houston did it against Phoenix in the Western semifinals this season.
Well, a couple of interesting statistics. The Pacers had the rebounding edge throughout the ballgame, but it didn't seem to be that important because it looked like the Knicks were in control of the ballgame, and also Indiana had kicked the ball all over the place. Now that statistic is all tied up at 18 each. But throw those statistics out the window. They're kind of a trend, but the biggest statistics are the ones that Reggie Miller put up in the fourth period, and of course the Pacer defense in that fourth quarter.
And Matt, Reggie Miller telling us before the game that he felt that this was the biggest game of his basketball career. Well, that'll be until Friday night, which will probably amount to the same type of situation. But this is the pivotal 5th game of a best of 7. And for the NBA franchise history of the Pacers, Larry Brown felt it certainly represents the biggest game for this franchise.
Well, still a lot of time left in this one with 45 seconds, a 6-point lead for Indiana. We've seen crazier things happen. And then even if Indiana does hold on and win it, of course, things aren't over. The New York Knicks, who have not been a good road playoff team, only winning that one in New Jersey, but, you know, they'll come in all fired up.
Hoffer gets the foul. Stopping the clock. Workman will go to the line. Indiana Pacers with the lead despite the awful free throw shooting. 9 of 22 from the line. Workman is usually solid at the line. He's 2 for 2 here tonight.
Reggie Miller had one more parting shot. He probably will have a few more for Spike Lee as he walked by. He probably said, hey, can you come to Indiana on Fridays?
Yes. Pacers now lead 90-83. Here's Dale Davis replacing Derek McKee. Apparently McKee remains on the floor.
Larry going a little offense-defense, wanting to keep his best foul shooters on the floor when they have possession, and at the other end wanting to get his better defensive players, obviously.
So he has McKee, Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, along with Workman and Miller. 35 seconds remaining, fourth quarter. Indiana leads by 8. The steal by Miller. Starks recovers. And Antonio Davis gets to it. Gets it over to Miller. So the Knicks turn it over. And the Knicks are hearing boos from the crowd. The Indiana Pacers, with 21 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, lead by 8. And they are headed back to the line as Charles Oakley was called for the foul.
Ball knocked loose from John Starks. Everybody getting on the floor going after this as Reggie Miller knocks it loose one time. Antonio Davis is going to set it free as well as John Starks diving over. And then Reggie Miller will get hit very hard by Charles Oakley on the intentional foul to put him on the line. And one more shot. That's Spike Lee.
38 points for Miller. 24 in the fourth quarter. And the Pacers now lead by 10. 93-83. Starks for 3. And Matt, this will go down as a very dark day in New York Knicks history. The Indiana Pacers are celebrating over at the bench. A remarkable turnaround effort by the Pacers, doing it in New York, where they had lost 11 in a row, 31 of 33. The Knicks will have many questions to answer after this one as Ewing hits a three-pointer. It's a 7-point Pacer lead, and that is the final score as Reggie Miller spikes it to conclude matters. He finishes with 39 points, 25 in the fourth quarter, only 4 away from an NBA playoff record that is held by Eric Sleepy Floyd. 14 for 26, 5 for 5 from three-point range in the fourth quarter, and Reggie is with them on.
All right, thanks, Marv. Reggie, what a performance you put on here tonight. 37 points, 23 in the fourth quarter. You guys really came out ready to play.
No, we didn't come out ready to play.
You finished very well.
We finished very well. Mentally, we were into the game, but you got to give New York credit. They came out hard. They wanted to keep home court advantage, but all we wanted to do was stick around, hang around. If we got it close, we know there were going to be a lot of heavy arms over there, and we did a good job of doing that.
Team showed a lot of confidence by coming through, because the Knicks, the way they started, looked like we're going to blow you right out of the gym.
Well, like I said, they came out with high intensity. We came out very flat, but like I said, we just wanted to hang around. A lot of guys were tight, and I couldn't make any of my early jumpers. I just wanted to stay kind of in the mix, and things just fell for us.
What about Spike Lee?
Spike who?
We will see you on Friday.
All right.
All right. Good luck to you.
All right, Ahmad, one of the great playoff performances in the history of the NBA.